A lot of people have been asking how I create the ghost effect in several of my recent videos. The effect itself is relatively simple, but it can be used to make some pretty impressive shots. First, I shoot the character against a blue or green background, and import the footage into After Effects. Using the Key Light tool, I chroma key out the background. I desaturate the character, and add a curves effect to lower the contrast. I then add a solid color layer over the character, turn the blending mode to screen, mask around the character, and then feather the edges to create a nice glowing effect. I then turn down the opacity on the character, making them transparent. After all of this is finished, I drop the character into my background plate. If there are any foreground elements that overlap with the ghost image, I duplicate the layer and rotoscope the foreground element back in over top of the ghost layer. If this foreground element happens to be a moving character, it means I have to adjust my mask for every frame that the character moves, which can be pretty tedious. In my Lord of the Rings Ghostbusters crossover, I used this method to build some pretty epic sequences. Each of the different ghost elements was shot against the blue screen and comped into the shot. This allowed me to multiply the number of ghosts I had, creating an entire army out of just 5 or 6 different plates. The shot where the ghosts first appear coming off the ships was a little tricky. The ghost elements had to appear in front of the ships, but behind Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. Rather than rotoscoping the characters, I saved myself several hours of work by dropping a blue screen behind the characters at the point where the ghosts were supposed to appear. This allowed me to composite the ghosts in between the foreground characters and the background ships. The wide panning shot was created from a number of different still elements composited all together to create one large background plate. I then composited the ghosts into the shot, duplicating each layer multiple times, creating an entire army. To really sell the effect that all of these elements were on screen together, I duplicated the background layer and cut out specific elements, like the buildings or one of the sails, and put them in the foreground in front of the ghosts. This composition was built a lot wider than I needed it to be, and this allowed me to keyframe the plate to make it look like the camera was panning across the shot. The very first shot in the video was also created through compositing over a dozen different elements together. The orc army was created from a number of different plates shot against a blue screen. These were reused from my Walk into Mordor video, saving me hours of animation time. A lot of these elements were scaled down to make the original plate look a lot bigger and grander than it actually was. The movement of the pirate ships was shot in live action against a green screen, and then comped into the shot, allowing me to create 2 ships when I only own 1. Using After Effects is like putting together a 3D puzzle. At times it can be overwhelming, but with practice it can be used to create some pretty awesome shots. Thanks very much for watching, please subscribe, and please check back for more videos soon.